Watch fans, today we're going to be looking at a Rolex that will truly bring out your wild side. Stay tuned. So today we're going to be looking at a Daytona, and this Daytona is made a little different than the others. This was actually Rolex's first opportunity to show how extravagant they can become, how wild they can be. And this one really, even for myself, it brung out my wild side. You may have seen this watch on Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. You may have seen Nicolas Cage wearing it. I even, for my first time ever seeing the watch physically, had a chance to sell it because it was actually released when I first was trained to become an authorized dealer before joining SwissWatchExpo. And this watch was one that I can remember people wanting, and we had to select one person because we were only going to get this one watch. It had been released in 2004 at Baselworld. By this time, we're right in 2006, and it is a special order only. And yes, it was the first time for me that I actually ever had to interview a customer for a watch, and I thought it was crazy. But it fit the perfect customer when it happened, because this gentleman came in his perfect Giselle glasses, and he just had this ambience about him that was just so different. And I can remember somebody saying, "Is that Ozzy Osbourne?" And I said, "No, it's not, but maybe it's his twin brother." But it was really a feature that I felt was so different. With the 116598 SACO, this was going to be the piece that would change my opinion of Rolex. Not only that, it was the beginning of Rolex's actual movement being completely in-house, moving to a 70 hour and saying, "Hey, you know what, Zenith, we're going to continue to make our own movements." And they definitely showed their wild side while doing it. I love the watch itself just because of all the differences that you'll find in it. So even though it gives that nice wild leopard print, it is still a very well balanced watch. And it has a lot of meanings behind everything that is actually there. So the balance of the watch itself really gives purpose. This is how Rolex decided that on this Cosmograph Daytona, they were still going to allow form to follow function. We all know the functions of the Rolex Daytona, and if you don't, it's really quite simple. Of course, it is going to tell the time, and then it does give you the opportunity to time things in fast measurements that measure 1 unit. So you could actually do anything, whether it's counting beans or counting how fast the car is going. It's going to tell you those things. And for that advanced guy, of course, or that advanced young woman, especially with this watch being able to do both, it also will give you the opportunity to keep a second time zone. But we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the fun of this watch. This watch was actually released during a time frame where one of the brands that everyone knew and cherished and loved was Levion. Levion was the family who actually would own the rights to the gem mines. So they would actually pick the perfect stones first and then allow everyone else that opportunity. It was also the big diamond craze where GIA and everyone else were really beginning to get their names, IGI and so many other brands. And Rolex said, "Hey, we're going to have some fun and we're going to give you a piece that is going to be completely different." When we look at the reference number itself, that SA, that actually has a meaning, and the CO does as well. So the SA actually being French and the CO being French, because the word cognac is actually a French word. So it's saying Safri cognac, actually meaning the color itself. But these stones definitely stand out. It was the first time too that we're really getting something that looks this bold in color, and it actually really grabs your attention. With 36 jewels actually perfectly cut in there, they're actually going to be a tapered baguette or tapered cushion that you'll actually have for the stone itself, or some people would even say Asher. However, that is actually limited to that family. It's named after that family itself. But the stones themselves at 36 are cut perfectly and inlaid in the bezel. Now, they're actually accented too by 48 diamonds. Well, that is really amazing because those 48 diamonds are cut up into two sections of 24, which we all know there's 24 hours in a day, right? Well, the difference between that 24 on each, meaning 48, and that 36 on the bezel is exactly 12. Perfect balance. They're going from 12 back to 24. And then on the dial itself, if you notice, there are groupings of 4 with 2 diamonds. It's to give the perfect balance. So when you look at the piece itself, you have the balance of the diamonds with the Arabic. So each side of the watch actually balances out perfectly while still giving you this unique design that is absolutely different and stands out. And it gives Rolex the opportunity to truly show its wild side, and it's making the mark because this case actually ends the era of Rolex outsourcing, and now everything is going to be more insourced, including the gold. So you'll see some of the cases have PK, with that meaning that we know Rolex had not actually done the minting for that itself. And now at this point, this piece celebrates them moving into doing everything themselves and giving you that fantastic Cosmograph Daytona that today we now love and enjoy. And we can enjoy the fun, wild side, even for things like the Rainbow Daytona that has been recently released. Tell us what you think in the comments below here at Swiss Watch Expo.